Hey guys, Nicole Hanchi and Danny Young here. How's everybody doing today?
Good evening, everybody.
Can you guys leave us a quick little something in the chat and say, hey, let us know if you can see us and hear us. Ashling, if you have trouble with your internet, never fear. We will take care of you. Hello, Sarah. Welcome. Sorry, guys, I'm sick, so I sound a little bit like a man, I think. I'm starting to sound, hi, John. So I'm probably not going to say as much as I normally do because it makes me cough. But I'm armed with a whole bag of these babies.
What are they?
These? Oh, these are the best ever. Do you not have these? Ricola?
Never.
Ricola. No, you don't have them?
No.
They are Swiss. They're from Switzerland.
Wow. Well, how comes they didn't come via the UK?
Yeah, no, apparently they cut you out of the mix. They just came right over the US.
Right over.
Right over. I'll mail you some. They're amazing. They have they're herbal. So they actually really help, you know, like my throat is very sore just from the coughing, and it actually really helps. It's got echinacea and herbal stuff. Yeah.
Yes. I'll let you know when I'm poorly.
What?
I'll let you know when I'm poorly.
Just let me know. I'll mail you like a whole bunch of them. They're awesome. I mean, because you can go through a bag pretty quick, but they're amazing. So yeah.
Can I just say, we are in no way affiliated with Ricola.
We're not. We are in no way selling these, or I'm merely sharing that I am currently eating this bag of them so that I can hang out with you guys here. So yes, thank you for that disclaimer, Danny. Smart.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. I wonder, Elizabeth's sick too. A lot of us are sick over here. I wonder if it's just the weather. I don't know. It's just going around. So.
Oh no.
And it's boiling hot. You guys are freezing. We're sweating to death, and all of us are sick. Yes. We'll see. John wants to set his affiliate. Yeah, we'll hook you up, John. We'll have our own Ricola affiliate. It'll be awesome. Yeah, we'll sell cough drops. Way to think, John. Gotta monetize everything. So, all right, guys. Are you ready to rock and roll? I know Danny is. He's ready. Oh, man. Just wait till you see. It's good stuff. You guys ready?
Let's
do it.
Get going.
Okay, John's ready. It takes so long for us to actually see your, yes. Okay, hang on, guys. Can you see the full screen now with Danny's slides? You should, hopefully. Hopefully that's all you see. Go ahead, get started, and I'll let you know if there are any problems.
Great stuff. Okay, so welcome this evening to the Momentum Masterclass.
Ooh.
Wants to help you to finish 2016 strong and make sure that you start 2017 in full effect with a bang. And we're going to talk you through some cool ways that it can help you to do that this evening. So I'm going to get straight into this, starting off kind of at the beginning and just talking a bit about why momentum is so important. It says at the bottom of the screen there, I love that quote from John Maxwell, momentum is really a leader's best friend. Sometimes it's the only difference between winning and losing. And I came across I was doing some research earlier today and I came across that quote. And I have to say I wholeheartedly agree with it, 100%. I think momentum is critical to, or it is a critical differentiator between success and failure, or winning and losing, or whatever terminology you want to use. But it's such an important part of building a business. But let's kind of take it back a bit and sort of talk about what momentum is. So momentum is the strength or force that something has when it's moving. An increase in momentum, as it says on the screen, means an increase in progress. If you don't have momentum, then you aren't progressing with your business. It's just as simple as that. And you have to think about what it takes to get momentum. There are two really, really important aspects. The first is actually achieving it. And to achieve momentum, you need to be in motion. You need to be moving forward. You need to be taking action, if you want to strip it down to talking about your business. And that is probably, for some people, as difficult as the second key to momentum, which is maintaining it. And it's not uncommon for people to have to achieve momentum, try to maintain it, and then something might happen which means that they can lose momentum. Some people can lose momentum completely, and then they'll have to start at the beginning and start to achieve it again and maintain it. And that's not something that should dishearten you. What you should be looking for is something that helps you to understand where you're at. Are you in momentum? Do you have momentum, or do you need to start building momentum? And then when you know that you need to start building momentum, you're going to want a blueprint, a plan that's going to help you to get moving, so that you know what it is that you need to do in order to start getting or building momentum. So once you've started to achieve it, you need to build it to a point where it's going to tip over. But momentum in your business is fundamental. It's absolutely fundamental to the success of your business. If you don't have it, then your business isn't going to go, it's not going to go anywhere, because it's not moving forwards. Is there anything you want to add to that, Nicole?
Yeah, I often think in my mind about momentum as being very fragile. It's kind of fragile and finicky, and something that can be easily lost. And so Danny kind of hit the nail on the head right from the get-go there, that you really do have to have kind of a recipe or a blueprint for not only getting the momentum going, but maintaining it and or restarting it. Because, sometimes things are going to happen. Things are going to take you away from, focusing on your business. Maybe you take a vacation, maybe something happens and you're out for, a period of time, or whatever it is, or you just have to focus on another project or whatever you have going on that can kind of chip into that momentum. The key is having that blueprint that you can step back into the game and kickstart that momentum back up again, so that you can continue to build, because it's not, it's not this kind of rocket ship, to the moon sort of thing. You have to, it's like an engine that you're getting it started, you're taking off, and you're going compounding and compounding, like Danny explained. So it takes continual work. So you can't really take your foot off the pedal. Or like I said, it's very fragile to lose, which is why you need to have a blueprint. And wait till you see what Danny's going to share with you.
You're picking this up. You're putting me under pressure. Right, let's move on.
No, it's good stuff. No, I'm making you under pressure. You can do it.
Of course not. No, of course, this is good stuff. Right. So let's think about what happens when you've got momentum. Good stuff. Good stuff happens when you are moving forwards. When you do start to make progress in your business, or when you start to build momentum, when you start to reach that tipping point, if you think about kind of cycling up a hill, and eventually you're going to get to the top of that hill, and then you're going to start to cycle down the other side. But cycling down the other side is much, much easier than it is to cycle up the hill. And it's when you're building momentum as you're cycling up that hill, and you're pushing hard with your legs, and you're probably sweating a little bit, and you're feeling the strain of putting the work in. But when you get to the top and you start to see what's happening down the other side, there are great things ahead of you. And as well as the things that are on the screen, which I'm going to talk about, everything kind of becomes easier. Challenges will present themselves, and you'll be able to just motor through them because you're in momentum. And as it says on there, I do believe that success kind of follows success, because when you've got to that point where you are in full flow, things have happened along the way. You've refined your skills, you've refined your approach, you've refined your processes, and you'll have had more and more conversations to build up the momentum. That is going to mean that all of that stuff's going to come together, and things are going to happen for you more and more quickly. And as a result of kind of getting to that point, you grow, and growth kind of comes more and more quickly as well. But what I really, really love is that, you know, your level of confidence will just continue to rise. Your motivation will rise. That is then going to kind of fan out to the rest of the people that are in your team. They're going to see what's happening, and that's where leadership really starts to come to the fore. And people, you know, once they're in full flow and starting to get success in their business, that's when their leadership traits start to emerge and become apparent. And, you know, as it says at the bottom, results do occur exponentially. Things just happen in a fantastic way. You know, I love momentum, and I've been guilty in the past of building myself up to a point where I'm really in full flow and then allowed something to pull me away. You know, as I said on the previous slide, that's life, that happens. But when you are at that point where things are going really, really well, it's a great feeling, isn't it, Nicole?
Yes, it's very exhilarating. And I think the key to it all is the confidence piece. Kind of all is built upon that confidence level, and like you say, stepping into your own leadership. A lot of people, once they start to feel like, oh my gosh, I can totally do this, then that's when they start to feel that the inhibitions kind of fall away, and they step into their own leadership. And then, you know, once you do that, you're unstoppable.
Okay, so question that's probably at the you know, on everybody's lips: how do you achieve it? How do we start to build momentum? Well, it starts with forward motion. It starts with making progress. It starts with making a decision. It starts with you deciding that you have to start taking steps forward with your business, and ideally you want to be doing that following a set process so that you can be consistent, so that you're repeating the actions that are required to take your business forward. For some people, getting started can be the most difficult part. I think I might have mentioned that a few minutes ago. If you think about the law of inertia, where an object that is in motion tends to stay in motion, and an object that's at rest tends to stay at rest. So momentum starts when you start to get moving. But for some people, you know, certainly if we're thinking about, you know, network marketing, online network marketing, you know, some people have got fear in the way of them starting to get, you know, to make progress. Some people have got self-doubt. Some people have got compare-itis. You know, there's so many things that can stop people moving. But it's, you know, it's important that people just start to take actions. One of the great things about network marketing is that, you know, I've heard this phrase used before. It's probably the best profession in the world where you can just learn on the job. You know, the leaders, the effective leaders in network marketing will always urge their people to just get started. Don't sit around waiting to perfect it. Don't sit around waiting for everything to fall into place. It will never happen. Just start making that forward motion. And, you know, momentum does start with the leader. If you've got a team of people, then, you know, it's important as a leader that you don't wait for your team to start taking action, because again, it's just going to sit there and stagnate. Momentum starts with the leader. It starts with the person at the front of the pack, and then it kind of fans out, and the rest of the team sense it and see it and feel it and taste it and want it, and then they start to follow behind, and that, you know, that's when the really, really good things start to happen. But it's about developing a vision. It's about, you know, setting your goals out, setting your stall out clearly, sharing that vision with your team, and then they can start to see. And as you continue to move on through that process, your level of motivation is going to increase, and that's then going to inspire other people to take action. You know, it's really important as well that you have this mindset of taking massive action, and that can sound overwhelming. That can sound, for some people, a little bit massive action. It just feels a bit beyond me, but that doesn't need to be a scary thought. When we talk about massive action, you know, if we think about people in the Olympics, you know, which is just passed in the last couple of months in Rio. If you think about those that do the sprints, the most important thing that they need to do is to get off of those blocks, and then, you know, they'll quickly start to build momentum, and they will power through to the finish line. And, you know, that it's important that you think about taking a fast start like those sprinters do, and then just powering on and taking massive action. But that massive action doesn't need to translate into hours and hours of work and stress and toil. It just needs to translate into a clearly defined plan that we've referred to a few times that you act on every day. The massive action part for me is about getting out of the blocks, and then it's consistency. It's one foot in front of the other, you know, sprinting, and, you know, really, really pushing through. And then once you start to achieve success, the one thing that you don't, I've done this in the past. When I was in my corporate sales career, I did this several times. I was in that job for about 18 years with different companies. And sometimes I would have massive success and close, you know, I'm talking $1 million deals. And then I would just think, great, I can just sit back now. And that was a mistake, really. I mean, you know, you shouldn't rest on your laurels. To maintain momentum, you've got to follow one success with another, and you've got to keep on pushing on. And that's how you get to be hugely successful. Nicole, did you want to add anything to that?
I think that's spot on. And I think that one of the key factors in bringing this all together is that piece in the middle there, developing your vision, or being in touch with your vision and really remembering always, why it is that you're doing this. You know, set something out there for yourself that's going to pull you along, right? Because you don't want this to feel like a struggle, like you're constantly running uphill, like you're struggling. You want something to just pull you along, like there's, like, whatever it is that you see for yourself at the, you know, at the other side, or whatever success looks like, is just got you on a string, and it's pulling you over to it, where it feels, you know, I don't want to say effortless, because yes, there's work involved, and yes, there are going to be not so great days and all of that kind of stuff. You know, we're not here to put on the rose-colored glasses, but if you've got that vision, you're really in touch with why you're doing this and what it is that you see for yourself and for your family. Let that pull you every single day. Never forget that.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so we want to talk about finishing the year strong. I think that, you know, the first thing that you're going to want to do is to kind of take stock of where you are. So it's time to look back, but just look back for a short while, because this isn't all about overanalyzing what's happened in the past, because the past is the past, and it's important that you have the mindset that you can't change what's happened in the past. So, you know, for me, this is just a short exercise that I recommend everybody take. I started to do this a couple of weeks ago, when in fact a team member said to me that we have 100 days left in 2016, and you know, I've done this exercise every year anyway for the last quarter, probably because I've got a sales background. It's, you know, it was actually put upon me by my sales director when they would kind of haul you in and say, right, where are you tracking to in terms of your numbers? Because it was always about numbers. But, you know, it's time to have a look back. Now, hopefully you will set goals for yourself at the start of 2016. You know, I always set myself some pretty big goals. And that's not because I'm overly confident that I'm going to achieve them. It's actually because if I do get kind of 70% of the way there, then I know that I've achieved a lot. But I think it's important to set goals, and I hope that you all did so as well. And I know that, you know, as I said, I will have achieved some good things if I've got kind of anywhere near close to what I did, to what I set myself. When you are looking back, I think, you know, I can't say this enough. It's important to maintain a positive mindset. Yeah. So just celebrate the small wins that you've had, but just think about how you're tracking against the goals. And you're going to be in one of three camps. Okay. You're either going to be way behind where you wanted to be, and or you're going to be on track, kind of tracking pretty close to where you think you should be in order to achieve those goals, or you might even be ahead of the game. And, you know, personally, you know, my personal opinion is that if you are ahead of the game, you probably set your goals maybe a little bit too low. But, you know, that's not a bad thing. You know, if you are ahead of the game, pat yourself on the back. But regardless of where you're at, it's absolutely okay. Because as we said a couple of times, you know, 9 months for a start off is a long time. Even though it can go really, really quickly, 9 months is a long time. Lots of stuff can happen. It's absolutely fine wherever you are, but now's the time to kind of take stock and just think about, right, where am I at and what do I want to achieve before the end of the year? And in terms of looking forward to the end of 2016, then you're either going to say, right, I'm not too far off of the goals that I set myself, so I'm going to just stick with the plan. Or you might think, well, actually I'm a bit off track, so I'm going to kind of manipulate those goals slightly and make them more achievable. Or you might just think, do you know what, my life has changed completely in the last 9 months and I'm actually going to set myself some new goals. But this is what you want to do. It's time to refocus and think about how you can finish the year strong, how you can start to build momentum. And what you're going to do is two things. First of all, if you follow the plan, then by the end of 2016, you are going to look back with a huge sense of pride and accomplishment of what you've managed to achieve. But the momentum is the key thing, because you're going to start next year and you are going to be in full flow. And there is no better feeling than starting a year with momentum behind you, because you know that if you maintain that throughout the year, you're going to have the best year that you've ever had. And that's what you want. You know, it's great to finish the year on a high, but if you can maintain that momentum through into January and beyond, think about the impact it's going to have on your 2017. You know, every new year, you know, I'm connected to a lot of network marketers, and every new year I see loads of people in kind of late December, early January putting up those posts saying, you know, last year was practice, this year is game time, all of that kind of stuff. If you start focusing on your business right now, even though we're a couple of weeks into October, if you start focusing right now, you can make a massive difference to what you're going to achieve in 2017, and also to how your year's going to finish now as well. Nicole, anything you want to add?
That was awesome. I think too, one of the things that when I first started in network marketing, excuse me, was with my original network marketing company. You know, they would have these kind of, you know, like they would offer these big bonuses, I guess, you know, once or twice throughout the year, and everybody would run out and they would claim these massive, you know, I'm gonna achieve 3 rank promotions and I'm gonna get this big bonus. You know, and they would go out and they would get all excited and they would make these massive claims, but there was never anyone saying, okay, let's break this down. Let's see what it is that you really have to do to accomplish it. It's okay to say, you know, that that's not reasonable, or it's okay to, you know, the important thing is to realize what it is that you want, what it's going to take to get there, and is that feasible for you, right? Because if you're working full-time and you've got kids at home at night and you literally have, you know, 1 or 2 hours a day to work on your business, you know, doing something, you know, trying to achieve a goal that would literally take someone 10 hours a day to do, it's not reasonable. And when it was one of the biggest things that I think damaged people's, you know, feeling of confidence or feeling of efficacy that they could do this, because they would think, I set this goal, I was so excited about this, and I didn't even come close. Like, I didn't even sign anyone, maybe. You know, it could range from, you know, not even making any progress through to just kind of making some progress, but most people would never get there. And it was heart-wrenching to watch. And it was something that really bothered me. And that's why it's really important. And I was so grateful to finally learn how to set the goals the right way, how to really look at something and kind of break it down and reverse engineer it. So I knew, because if you know what you're up against, if you know what you're going into, if you know the work that it's going to take to do it, then at the end, your feelings are very different. If you achieve the goal, awesome. But if you don't achieve the goal, then at least you know why. At least you have something to look back at and say, okay, here's why I didn't have the time that I thought I was going to have, or I wasn't able to talk to the number of people that I thought I was going to talk to, or whatever it was, so that you can recalibrate, you know, changing your expectations or changing your work, whatever it is that you're able to do, so that you know exactly, you know, you're in control of your business, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's something that's really important for staying on track emotionally too. Because, you know, if you're rushing out there and trying to do these grandiose things and crashing down when it doesn't happen, and you've got nothing in there that can help you look at the situation and understand why, you know, like I said, was it that you set the goals too high, or what was it, so that you can make a change, you know, that takes a toll on people emotionally, and that's why so many people end up quitting. I don't know if you had experience like that, Danny, before, when you started network marketing, or any part in your journey, but I had felt like for a long time that was one of the biggest reasons why people would end up quitting.
I think you just put that so well. Yeah, I experienced it personally. I've seen team members experience it as well. Yeah. I love the fact about reverse engineering your goals, learning to do that. You know, I've just been thinking while you were saying that, in fact, that, you know, there's probably some more content that we can share in a future webinar about goal setting, because it's an art form, kind of, in a way. And when, you know, people can set themselves goals that are unachievable at the beginning without thinking about what it takes to get there, and then be completely disheartened once they, you know, it gets to the end of the line and they've just not got anywhere near, you know. And I've certainly, I can think back to times when I've experienced that myself. Again, I refer back to my corporate career, because I've done it there as well. Yeah, really well put. I think that's I'm just scribbling down some notes as you were saying, so I think there's some great stuff there.
I wonder if I mean, if you guys are interested in maybe doing some, you know, how to access some, you know, maybe a reverse engineering session with us, leave a comment here. Let us know if that's something you might want to do, and maybe we'll see about putting some stuff together.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the things that you are going to need to do if you want to finish the year strong, and if you want to move into 2017, you know, with an absolute bang. It's, you know, I think the first piece of advice is to, as it says on the screen, get serious. You know, you've got to look at this and think, okay, I've got 3 months. Let's just call it 3 months. You know, we're a couple of weeks into October. Let's say you've got 3 months to make this happen. That's a, you know, that's a distinct finite amount of time that you've got. So you've got to start getting focused and intent on achieving what you want to achieve. And, you know, I think there comes a time, you know, everybody that's listening to this and watching this is going to be in a different place. You know, we always talk about people who are on different journeys and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I think that there comes a time, it's happened to me in the past, where, you know, you think, right, that's it. You know, I'm done messing around. I'm done playing games. I'm done not being successful. I'm done not achieving what I want to achieve. And I'm done not earning enough money, I guess. And that's where, that's the thought process that you want to start thinking about right now. It's not the time to think, you know, well, we're pretty close to Christmas now. I can just start to kind of wind down a little bit, take my foot off the gas, and, you know, next year's next year. You know, commit now to finishing this year strong. Commit to starting 2017 in full flight, full pelt, hurtling towards the finish line. That is absolutely critical. And I really believe that the daily method of operation is the key to that, for 2 reasons. Firstly, because if you work on producing yourself a daily method of operation, then you're already kind of making some statements to yourself about how serious you are. And secondly, that blueprint that you develop is going to set the stall out for you in terms of what you're going to need to do daily. I mean, it kind of does what it says on the tin. It's a daily list of tasks that you're going to need to undertake. And if you think about what those tasks need to be and start to build that out, then you've got yourself a very, very solid plan. And all you need to do, as I said earlier, is just apply the consistency to that, and your momentum is going to start to build. Anything you want to add on that, Nicole?
Yeah, I think, you know, what you just said about, you know, finishing the year strong, and maybe your mental perceptions of, you know, when we start a new year, it's like, oh, it's the first quarter of a new year. It feels fresh. It's like spring. It's a new beginning. It's exciting. But, you know, when you get to the end of the year, it can almost feel like the walls are closing in on you a little bit, and it can kind of be easy, like you just said, to just think, you know what, this year's a bust. I'll just call it a loss, and like you said, take my foot off the gas, and I'll start back up again in January. And you could make a million different excuses as to why that would be okay to do. But think about it this way, you know, what you do now lays the foundation for the kind of year you're going to have next year. Do you want next year to be different than this year if you didn't achieve what you wanted to achieve? because it won't if you don't start now. You know, so at the minimum, what you're doing now is going to get you positioned properly for 2017. So if you want to sit there and say, yeah, I'm going to take my foot off the gas, I'm just going to, you know, call this year a wrap and I'll come back in January strong. Well, remember, we're talking about momentum here. It's not something you can spark up overnight. It takes time, it takes effort. It's something that you're going to have to build back up. So do you want to spend the first quarter of 2017 building your momentum? Or do you want to have that in place so that you can rock and roll and really just, you know, get going in 2017, or continue to build that momentum? I mean, it's up to you. Only you can decide what you want for your business and what you're willing to tolerate. But if it feels, you know, and I understand it might be, you might be looking at your goals and thinking, oh my gosh, they feel insurmountable. There's no way I could even get close, you know, in the next 3 months. Like, why should I even try? Why should you try? Because, you know, like I just described, you don't want to start next year off the same way you started this past year, right? I'm thinking no. Yeah, so now is the time, guys. Now's the time to, like Danny said, get a daily method of operation in place, something that you're doing every single day with consistency, so you can start building that momentum up, so you can start seeing results now at the end of this year, closing the year out with results, with, you know, confidence. You build yourself up, get yourself, you know, step into your leadership, guys. This is your time. Don't wait until next year.
Brilliantly put. Love that. And yeah, you know, I think even if those goals that, you know, if you're approaching this point, you're looking back and you are thinking, as Nicole said, this is just insurmountable, then reassess. You know, set yourself new goals. You know, don't set your bar too low. Absolutely don't do that. You still want to push yourself, but if the bar is far too high, just lower it slightly and give yourself something to aim for that feels like it could be achievable with a push, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a push. It's going to take that added effort. That's of course assuming that you're feeling the need. I mean, if you're already absolutely at full pelt, then continue as is. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point, Danny. But think about it this way too, like, how do you want to feel? Imagine, you know, you're with whomever on New Year's Eve, you know, and 12 o'clock's coming and you're all ready with whatever you're going to do to celebrate, and you're thinking, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel like, I took my foot off the gas and I gave up, and so yeah, I felt a little depressed because I didn't make progress toward my goal, I didn't end the year strong? Or do you want to feel like, you know what? Maybe it wasn't the year that I wanted to have. Maybe I didn't reach my goal in full, but man, I finished that year strong and I chipped away at my goal. I made progress. I feel awesome. And I know that this year is going to be a different year because of it. This year coming up is going to be different. How do you want to feel, guys? Which scenario is the one you want for yourself, you know, this New Year's? It's as simple as that.
Totally is. Totally is. That's a great analogy. Okay, let's press on. I love this.
Yeah, me too.
You can either do things differently, okay, or you can do different things, okay? Now, as it says, I am told that Albert Einstein made this quote: the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. You know, expecting to get better results from the same behavior is counterproductive, okay? Well, it is, in fact, if you're doing well or not, if you keep doing the same things, you are going to get the same results. That's what Albert Einstein is apparently saying there. It's counterproductive and it's going to lead to frustration if you want to improve. So you've got to start thinking about if the actions that you're taking right now are leading you towards the results that you want, okay? For many people, this is about, you know, it certainly was for me. When I think back, I recognized that I needed to learn new skills. I thought that coming out of the corporate world into the world of network marketing, that I already knew it all. I absolutely did not. There are skills that I knew I needed to learn, and addressing that for me was part of me realizing that I needed to do different things. So you know, and the great thing about it is that these aren't complex skills to learn. You know, I certainly don't think so, and I don't think, you know, we like to keep this simple because network marketing is a simple business. But when it comes to building online, you've got to learn how to do certain things the right way. You've got to learn how to find and generate leads. You've got to learn how to build relationships with people. You've got to learn how to convert leads into sales and sign-ups. You've got to learn how to use, so, you know, all of these things you need to learn how to do. But they're not complex. It's not kind of rocket science stuff. You just need to understand what it is that's required to take a business online and build it. So, you know, it comes back to, you know, either doing things differently or doing different things. It's a really good question to ask yourself. You know, perhaps what you're doing right now is kind of working, but you've got to inject some more consistency in. You know, you've got to start doing it on a regular basis to build momentum. Or it might be that, in fact, what you're doing right now isn't working. And in that case, you need to do different things entirely. But if that's the case, you've got to come up with these new actions and think about what the actions are that are required that are going to move your business forward. I'm just going to quickly, yeah, I thought that was the case. I should have reviewed these slides before because I did these this morning. Anything you want to add to that, Nicole, before I move on to the next slide?
No, perfect.
Okay.
It was pure genius, nothing to add. But that is, I do love that. I mean, I got that from you, do things differently or do different things. And I think about that a lot of times, you know, is it, and I think that's just part of continual assessment that you should always be doing. You know, what's going in, pulse checks in your business, or however you want to call it. You know, what's working, what's not working. Should I do this differently, or should I do something different altogether? And it's just a great, I'm trying to, the word escapes me. Sorry, guys. I'm a little fuzzy headed today, but you get the point. It's just a great way to kind of sit back and think about your business and evaluate it a little bit and make some tweaks and move forward. So I love it.
I love speaking to the people that come into my community and kind of asking them in a roundabout way these, you know, the questions that lead them to this point where they asking themselves, well, do I need to do things differently, or do I need to do different things? And it's empowering when it's powerful when the light bulb goes on and you see it with people when they say, actually, I do realise that what I'm doing right now is not going to get me to where I need to go. And then they kind of say, okay, right, well, can you show me the way? I love it when people are open to that kind of not recognition. I can't think what the word is, but when they recognise within themselves that
coachable.
Yes, exactly, that they are coachable. Exactly that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. So, you know, how would it feel to have the tools that you need in order to succeed? I touched on some of these, you know, when I was talking through the previous slide, but when I thought about the things that I needed to learn, the skills that I needed to learn what you see on the screen. Certainly when it came to building my business online, I'd learned some of this stuff offline, but, you know, how do you find people? How do I find the people to talk to? And what do I say to them? Once I've started talking to them, how do I actually start to move relationships forward? How do I get to speak to these people with an end result in mind and be able to steer people towards that end result? How do I stop talking about the company that I'm representing? Massive struggle for me when I first came online. I just couldn't get my head around that. We've talked about the daily method of operation. How do I get my stall set out every day so that I know exactly what I need to do to get closer, just a tiny bit closer each day, but closer and closer towards my goals? How do I use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter the right way to attract people to me? You know, what I do like about this is you could look at that list and say, oh my God, that is, where do I start? But it's actually not as complex as it sounds. So I think it's good, you know, just to go back to what I said on the previous slide, ask yourself that question. Do you need to do things differently, or do you need to do different things? Ask yourself that question and have a think about what you're doing right now and whether or not it's going to take you to where you want to go. Do you want to add anything on that quick slide, Nicole?
Nope. Well said. Spot on. Good stuff.
Let's talk about speed. Success loves speed. I've heard that a lot in my career in network marketing. It's true. Success does love speed. It's absolutely true. I mean, you know, you don't want to go into this thinking in your mind, nah, I'll do it tomorrow. That's not the mindset that you want to have. This is about taking action, and taking action fast. We talked about massive action. It's about, as you know, thinking about the Olympic sprinter. It's about getting out of the blocks as fast as you can and making sure you're consistently taking those steps. And you know, when we think about the sprinter running really, really fast, you know, we can think about the long distance runner, if you want to put it more in the mindset of, you know, maybe 3 months or maybe a year. You know, it's consistency that gets you over the line in first place. It's not, you know, so much about doing it as fast as possible, but success does love speed. And you know, when we talk about that, we talk about this sense of urgency that you've got to create for yourself. It is crunch time if you're going to do this, and it's the massive daily action, as it says at the bottom, the massive daily action and the pursuit of speed. Putting those two things together, that's what's going to give you the huge results. You know, if you want to become, let's not shy away from the thought process that everybody that's listening to this webinar has the capacity and potential to become a top earner in their company. That is absolutely possible for you. All you need to do is just to plug into the right systems, take the right action on a daily basis, get out of the blocks fast, create that sense of urgency and be consistent, and you absolutely can achieve huge results. And I want, you know, I want people to get that sense of belief, not just from watching this webinar and from, you know, taking part in this, but to really understand that that absolutely is a capability that everybody has. It's important to understand that. Just think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. You know, I think I kind of said it. This is going to require commitment, and it's going to take this you know, massive daily action. But if you apply it, great things can happen. Absolutely. Anything you want to add, Nicole?
No, that was good stuff.
Okay, what's next? This is good stuff as well. I like this one. I think it's important to think about the habits that you have and think about the changes that you can make, because you can make some small tweaks and switch out a few bad habits that you've got for a few good ones, and you can see big things happen. You know, habits are such a massive subject. You know, we could be talking about things like not having a focused approach to your business, staying in bed too late or staying up in the evening too late, and, you know, not getting enough sleep. You know, we can talk about those physical habits, but we can talk about maybe more professional habits. You know, a lack of consistency, a lack of direction, a lack of clarity. You know, when people think of habits, they think about smoking or, you know, I don't know, maybe drinking or whatever. You know, it's just thinking about, from a business perspective, looking at your habits. And if you think about the habits and attitudes that you have, that you know that deep down they are holding you back from success, then switching a few of those out can make a massive difference. So you can think about things, you know, if we think about business, I would say, you know, time management is important. You know, organizational skills are important. Talked about commitment and consistency quite a few times on this evening's session. Seeing where improvements can be made and implemented, and then actually, you know, taking action and putting those into practice. You know, I think as well, where it says be open to new ideas and change, if you're building a business online, you are in a fast-paced world. Things move quickly. New platforms crop up. You know, so many new ideas crop up. This is a little bit contradictory for me, because I will often say to people, don't get sucked into shiny object syndrome. That, for me, is where we're talking more about opportunities. But I think where I'm saying be open to new ideas and change, I'm thinking about where new social media platforms, or, you know, when something comes along that just feels like it could be something good, you do have to have a part of you that's receptive to that, but you also have to have a part of you that's slightly guarded about, you know, all of the stuff out there that's never going to work, all of the get rich quick stuff. That's not what we're talking about here. But where there are, where you see people having real success, then you want to be open to looking at those ideas. Try new approaches. If we going back again to what we said about different things, think about new approaches, and as it says at the bottom, be proactive and willing, not lazy. Maybe it's looking for a mentor. Maybe it's looking for somebody that's been successful, either alive or not with us any longer, but there's access that you've got to material. I always talk about Jim Rohn in that respect, because unfortunately he isn't with us anymore, but his material is widely available on YouTube, Audible, your iTunes. You can get hold of his stuff. He's a great mentor. You might want to think about a coach, somebody that can actually work with you to help you to kind of assess where you're at and then work out a plan to get you to where you want to be. But yeah, it's important to think about your habits and just thinking about what changes you can make as an individual for yourself to make changes into your business. I hope that last sentence made sense. Anything to add on that, Nicole?
I think one thing that I would add to that is, I think a lot of people automatically might be thinking, oh my gosh, we're talking about the grind. You see a lot of network marketers out there talking about the grind. I stay up till 2 in the morning and I grind, and then I wake up at 5 and I grind some more, and I'm awesome because I do that. And that's not at all, what we're talking about here in terms of your habits. You really do. I personally believe you have to have a balance in your life, or you're going to get burnt out and you're going to start to hate what you're doing. So when we talk about habits, we're talking about more in terms of being more efficient than doing more work. And I just think that's important to put out there, because I think a lot of people automatically start to equate that kind of thing to, okay, well, how can I do more work? I have a habit of, watching a half hour of TV at night. I should cut that out and do work instead. And I personally, that's not my philosophy. I don't think that's healthy. I know I've heard of people, cutting out workouts to do their work. And okay, if that's all you got, then, and that's your choice, that's fine. But that's not healthy for you. That's not good for you. And how successful are you really going to be if you're not taking care of yourself first? Your health, your sleep, whatever it is. So it's important to think in terms of your habits in a balanced way, I think. I don't know, what your philosophy is on that, Danny, but because otherwise I think if you are taking away things that you feel might be classified as bad habits, but they're something that is good for you, whether it's you like to spend, 30 minutes in the morning drinking your cup of coffee, whatever it is that you love to do that makes you feel good, that gives you peace or fills you up or energizes your brain or whatever, those are, just be selective about what you consider a bad habit, I guess is what I'm saying.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love that. Balance, so important. This isn't about working your butt off 24/7. It's not. You've got to make sure that you've got balance in your life. I like what I do. I love what I do. But I get to switch off if I want to switch off. And and I think as well, this is a moving target when it comes to habits, because because of this whole kind of complex thing called life that goes on. Situations and circumstances can change and habits can creep in. I think it's good to just every now and again just take stock, like we said right at the beginning. Well, no, it wasn't right at the beginning, but a few slides ago. Let's look back at what we've achieved so far in 2016. But when you're looking at your habits, you've got to do that as well, and just think. For argument's sake, I know that I was going to the gym more regularly at the start of this year than I am now, and that wasn't because it was just a January thing. There's other reasons for that, but I know that that's something. In fact, talking of habits, I've just rejoined a new gym because since we moved house, it's closer. Just rejoined a new gym today. I'm aware and conscious that I want to look after my health, and I want to put more focus and time and attention onto that. So yeah, that's brilliantly put, Nicole. I think it is really, really important to get balance. And if exactly like you said, if you need to switch off, I do. I like to switch off of an evening and just sit in front of the TV and watch a box set every now and again, because you need to do that. You've got to strike that and get that right for yourself. Absolutely.
Yeah, you do, and it's important. And this is something that, like Saturday morning, I was just sitting at the breakfast table. The kids weren't up yet. It was just me and my husband, and we were just sitting having coffee, talking. And that tends to be the only time that we actually get together, where we can sit and talk about things that we need to talk about for, the running of our family. It's kind of like a business, like what do we have, what's going on, who has to do what, all that kind of stuff, decisions that had to be made. And I realized, oh my gosh, we have not done this. I can't remember the last time that we actually sat and had a cup of coffee and relaxed and had these conversations. Sadly, I had let it become a time where I was working, and so all of those kind of things that we need to talk through and kind of have that conversation became, text messages sporadically, frantically throughout the week. And it was a light bulb moment for me on Saturday morning where I thought, you know what? This needs to happen. Like this Saturday morning, I need to have that balance where we had that conversation, that weekly chat together, instead of it being random crazy texts when we've forgotten to do something or whatever it is. So, do those things. Don't cut those things out. The simple things. Yeah.
Definitely do not cut those things out. Very important. Okay, so do you want to cover this, Nicole? Do you want me to cover this one?
Do you mind?
No, you sit and talk quietly. Cool. So Nicole and I are helping people to finish the year strong with a project that we initiated a couple of months back now. And we're seeing people get awesome results already, and they're building momentum in their business, and they are having fun while they're doing it as well, which I think is the other really cool part of that. So we have access to a set of tools that can help you to succeed. I'll talk you through a couple of those now. We've got a training library that we have access to, that we're sharing with people through what we call, I should probably say, the Today Money Project. You may have heard of that. We've got access to a training library, and we've got, as well as that, we've got access to the daily method of operation. Nicole and I have both designed our own blueprints, as it were, to help people to build out their own daily method of operation. But if you're sitting there thinking, do you know what? As I said again a few slides ago, where I was talking about people that are going to sit there and say, yeah, maybe now's the time. Maybe now I just need to kind of reassess my goals and look at what I'm doing and start to learn some new skills. If you want help doing that, if you want to learn how to build a business online effectively, if you want access to a blueprint that tells you exactly what you need to do to get results, but all of this wrapped up with support so that you're not on your own, so that you've got access to weekly masterminds that Nicole and I host with our team, where we provide support, we provide accountability, we provide people with the ability to ask and have answered their questions. We talk about what works and what doesn't, and we help people to kind of steer themselves on a path towards success. But as well as that, what we're helping people to do is to achieve their income goals more quickly through the Today Money Project. I mean, the name itself lends it, kind of might prick your ears up and get you to thinking, well, what Today Money? Today Money for us is about helping people to earn money that they can use now. Okay, lots of people in network marketing are building up a business, building up a long-term residual income, and sure, they might be getting a little bit of money here and there from some product sales or something else, but getting that regular significant income doesn't happen overnight for most people, for pretty much any people really. So the project that we've designed is helping people to plug themselves into a system that's going to allow them to earn money today by following a plan, you know, and putting in the effort. This isn't just a case of flicking a switch and, you know, watching the bank account rack up on a daily basis. There is a system to follow, and there is work that needs to be done. But by applying yourself and doing the things that we talked about in terms of being consistent and being coachable, there is a way that you can do that. And if that's something that sounds like you'd like to understand more, then you've probably been invited here by somebody this evening. So get back with that person, because they will be in the Today Money Project already, and they'll share some more information with you on how you can start to plug into some of that stuff. Nicole, anything to add on that before we move on to a bit of Q&A? We've probably got about 5 or 10 minutes for questions, if we've got any.
No, perfect.
Cool. Well, then I will flick on to the last slide. Regular attendees will recognise this because I copy and paste it from every single presentation. But we do appreciate everybody that's taken the time to be with us this evening. I have had my eye on the attendance, and I don't think anybody has left, which is pleasing. We've got some great numbers on here tonight. But we do like to leave a bit of time at the end for Q&A. I'm just looking at the comments now. I'm just popping into the chat, and Aisling has cracked me up saying, God, it's weird having Nicole so quiet.
I'm being picky and choosy.
But yeah, just to kind of recap on the last slide, if you want some help, raise your hand or message the person that's popped you into this webinar. And also, I would like to add at this point is mark into your calendars this time every Tuesday, because Nicole and I work hard to pull these together and deliver them every Tuesday. And it would be great to see you on these regularly. You know, there is free training available to help you all. And I'm just looking at some of the feedback that's coming in. That's really, really great to hear. Thank you, John. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Rutger. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, everybody. It's such great feedback coming in. But yeah, we do these every Tuesday. We love doing them. We have a laugh preparing them. Some of the stuff that I've got a frog in my throat.
Did I make you sick?
I've caught Nicole's cough.
Did I contaminate you through the fiber optic cables?
Through the technology, you've got me. Can you send those sweets over now?
Here they come. Here they come. Ricola. I don't know if you can even see this, but I think it's just your screen. But yes, I'm mailing them right now.
Good stuff. Yeah, we do have some fun putting these together, but you know, we set up that project because we want to help people to succeed, and you know, these webinars are part of that. And mark these in your diary. There's free training available to you every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK time.
Yeah,
so
I'll be able to talk more next week.
Yeah, good. We've missed your tones this evening, Nicole. So Ray says, outstanding content. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate that. John says, thanks, Danny and Nicole. Great webinar like always. Thank you, John. Charmaine loves these webinars. We love you attending these webinars, Charmaine. Lay says, awesome content. Great feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you.
We do. We really do.
Yeah, you guys make it fun to put all this stuff together. Sorry, my little person is here jibber jabbering.
No, that's
I'm not
fine.
really sure why she's here jibber jabbering, but she is.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You guys are so welcome.
Cool. Okay, well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Danny. Awesome job.
Thank you, Nicole. I hadn't realised you were unwell, so thank you for battling through.
It's been simmering for a couple of days since the weekend. So just trying to make sure it doesn't get worse, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, well, you soldier on. Okay, guys. Shall I stop sharing my screen so I can say goodbye to you? There we go. Thanks ever so much, everyone.
Bye, guys. See you next week, same time, same place.
See you next time. Cheers.
So it's different now.
What?
Hang on.
How did it go, Mama?
Thank you, Ashley. We're still on, right? Can you just do your homework? How about that? Well, I try to figure out. It's different now, so we can't really just turn it off. That's bizarre. I don't like that. Bye, guys.
I'll just leave the call. Yeah. Catch you later.
Yeah, I'll catch you
We'll
later.
see.
I've got the link. I'll put it up.